There are very few moments in a story or fiction in general that kind of unite an entire fan base in one single shared emotion. For Demon Slayer fans, one of those moments was at the end of the Mugen Train movie, where we all watched one of the most hated characters of all time, Akaza, upper rank 3, the big bad demon, killed one of the most wholesome and likable characters in the entirety of the show, that of course being our boy Rengoku. Not only that, but we were left sitting with that same feeling like Tanjiro had during the movie, while Asuka cowardly fled through from the rising sun, getting away with the killing. The feeling that we had there was universal. Pure sadness, pure hatred. Akaza then become like this iconic villain right then and there. He's arrogant, cruel, robbed us of one of our favorite characters. For the longest time, my feelings were exactly that simple. All I wanted throughout the entirety of Demon Slayer was to watch Tanjiro get his revenge. And I thought that's what the entire show was building up to, especially when we come to talk about the Infinity Castle movie. Now, for those of you who don't follow the channel, I was initially disappointed in Akaza's ending in the recent Infinity Castle movie, and I recently changed my mind about that. And we'll talk about this entire thing a little bit more in just a second. Long-awaited intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Today, we're going to be talking about the Demon Slayer movie. So, like I said, guys, for those of you who don't follow the channel, I talked about in my review for the Infinity Castle movie about how disappointed I was in how Akaza was handled at the end of the movie. I went into the movie with one very specific want and expectation. I wanted a final, incredible battle where Tanjiro would finally make Akaza pay for what he did. After watching how unnaturally angry Tanjiro was at Akaza, in the Mugen Train movie, chasing him down, calling him a coward, calling him back to battle in general, you know? With that, on top of the teaser for the movie, which quite literally showed the impending showdown, I thought we were in for a nice, sweet revenge story when it comes to Tanjiro facing off with Akaza, and that's what it seemed like, right? In my review, I ended up comparing the scene to Avengers Endgame for something that I would like to see. The part where Wanda kind of comes down, interrupts everything with a special kind of rage in her eyes that she was kind of holding in with the sole goal of just picking Thanos apart. I thought that we were kind of setting up a scenario for Tanjiro like that with the way that he behaved in the Mugen Train movie. And that along with the trailer too. But of course, that's not what we ended up getting. Instead, Demon Slayer ended up delivering a story that completely dismantled any expectation that I had. And it has now, honestly, it's led for a change of heart for me upon a second viewing of that scene, okay? When I was watching the movie, the final battle was crazy, I loved it, and it was well on its way to delivering what I wanted to see within the movie. The battle, it was at an all-time high, things seemed to be coming to a close, and then the story just hit the brakes completely. We take off from the present battle and get thrown completely over into Akaza's past, just comes to a complete halt, which it's not new for Demon Slayer, or even in this movie. We've seen stuff like this before. But I'm not gonna lie, I found myself a little bit let down while I was watching. I didn't quite think that it was poorly timed, maybe a little bit, but I thought it just dragged on for way too long. I left the theater still thinking extremely high of the movie. It was just that one part at the end where there was a little bit of a hiccup for me. It took all of the momentum out of all of the adrenaline I was feeling. I wasn't ready for a backstory. But then I sat with it, okay? I continued consuming a bunch of Demon Slayer content because this really is one of my favorite shows of all time. I love Demon Slayer. I loved the movie. But as I kept hearing more and more about how much people really loved Akaza's story and how he was handled, and after a million TikTok edits of all things, I ended up revisiting the entire scene, okay? Then the small details started to sneak out a little bit more. The fireworks callback, beautiful. The promise to his girl, the pattern of his attacks, and that final moment, on the second viewing, it just hit me. That moment where his body, of course, we all know is crumbling away. He looks up to see her spirit just grabbing his face and helping him escape from the darkness. All of his memories end up returning to him, and that quiet smile that he gives to Tanjiro in the end, instead of that final blow Tanjiro was expecting, he ended up walking away with to his beautiful conclusion. I liked it a lot more now that I wasn't thinking about it, okay? After watching this, knowing what's coming, and not being so focused on being excited for the fight itself, which the fight itself, in all honesty, already delivered, I can now say that I am officially with the community on this one. I changed my mind about that entire scene, and the backstory I find to be extremely beautiful, okay? I was so hyped up in the moment. And honestly, I'm now conflicted on what I think would have been best for the story, or even, like, if not for the story, for something that I would have liked to see. I still love the idea of, like, a Scarlet Witch type moment and a mission success story, like I kind of mentioned earlier, but Demon Slayer doesn't really do things like that. I just feel like if there were, like, maybe a couple demons where we don't need to, maybe there's a couple demons where we don't need to feel sympathy for. For example, I don't want to be having this conversation about Muzan, okay? I don't want to be, which I'm sure we will be. Knowing Demon Slayer, he's probably going to somehow have the most depressing and just humanizing backstory we've ever seen in the entirety of fiction, okay? And please don't spoil that if you know what's going to happen. I love this series, but I don't want that. Demon Slayer does such a good job at presenting evil, making us cheer against evil. I actually want to go through with that. Maybe for, like, the upper three, I would say. Like, I think that could have been cool. Like, the upper three and Muzan himself are actually just straight up evil and haven't been turned. But it's a little bit besides the point. The point is, I wanted to make a little bit of an update video. I've changed my mind on how I feel about Akaza's backstory. Demon Slayer did what Demon Slayer does and made me feel bad for one of the most hated characters in the entirety of Demon Slayer in general. Like, who would have thought, honestly? The guy who killed Rengoku, of all things. Those edits, dude, those edits actually go hard. I spent so much time consuming so much Demon Slayer content, just scrolling edit after edit after edit after edit, and it's like, it's turned into just, it's crazy how TikTok can change your opinion on some things. It's not, like, I know it wasn't just TikTok, okay? I know how that sounds. Okay? But that's what kind of prompted me to revisit this, and I revisited the movie with, like, not with the same, like, let's go, come on, Tanjiro, kill Akaza, let's get this guy, we're here. That's what I was expecting, and that's why I think I was a little bit let down by everything. And it's funny how things like TikTok and edits can inspire that. Like, I love watching edits of movies. That's something that I love doing. It gets me hyped up. And in particular, I keep seeing Akaza with the song Chandelier and just the way, like, you know, the way the edits, you know, kind of present themselves. I wish I could react to them, but I don't think we can actually use anime footage on the channel. Just the way she grabs his chin, man, and the way that he looks up. It's like, Demon Slayer made it beautiful, man. I have a difficult time feeling bad for a lot of demons, but Akaza's backstory that I think was handled very well. And you know, a movie did very well when, after what we watched Rengoku go through and the hatred that we ended up feeling for Akaza, we now feel bad for Akaza of all people. The amount of edits with the fireworks that we've seen, it's kind of like taking over to the point where people are making edits and people are making TikToks in general of just watching fireworks the way that Akaza was watching fireworks, to the same level of, like, Eren pointing out into the sea from Attack on Titan. It's kind of reaching that level and how big it's gotten. I got a little bit off topic, though. My point being, again, my opinion has changed. I think I was just a little bit too excited, and I wanted to continue watching that, like, really, really hyped up battle. I still do think it maybe was a little bit too long, and I don't know if there was something wrong with the timing or not. I really don't know. I just feel a little bit uneasy still about, like, being taken away from, like, the climax of the Infinity Castle movie. These 3 movies are supposed to be the big final conclusion, and I know that it's not supposed to be all action, but that's what I was enjoying throughout the entire movie. I didn't want this thing to come to a halt, especially at the end of the movie. So let me know what you think. If you want to continue talking about Demon Slayer, why don't you check out my initial review for the entire movie, because it was pretty positive, and I'd love to have you guys over there. Thank you very, very much for watching, guys. Take care, everybody.